let me tell you the best life insurance policy for you. Drum rolls, please. Whatever works for you. And I learned this in 2023, January. I have a story for you. Let me tell you this story. I had the honor and pleasure of working with a very brilliant lady. And when I say brilliant, I mean it. A businesswoman running a very successful company, also well married, so very successful spouse, one child. And at the time, when I say that she's successful, she had about 8 real estate properties within the Kilimani-Kileleshwa area, okay? So financially, she was doing very well. So when she reached out to me via Instagram DM. She gave me an appointment. I went visited her at her office, and she had told me that she actually wanted me to help her get a life insurance cover. So I got to her office and I was off. I was impressive, and I was talking to her about whole life insurance and how it works, and how it's a powerful tool for inheritance planning, and how it's a powerful tool for income protection. And she just let me ramble on and on until I got to the end. And she told me, no, Charlene, I want an endowment policy. You know, the one where you save and eventually it matures and you receive the money. And there's something that she told me. Because we had a really lovely session. We shared a lot about each other. And she told me that I sell from my childhood trauma. Oh Lord. Truer words had never been said before. Let me tell you, like, you guys, I grew up dirt poor. I'm recording this episode on Boxing Day of 2024. And Christmas, like, I never even used to celebrate Christmas, like, before my baby arrived, because Christmas was always such a painful experience or painful memory for me. Because, for example, 1996 Christmas, like, we went through Christmas with my siblings, even without lunch. Like, you guys think about it, like, somewhere in the village. I like to talk of my sweet, sleepy, remote village of Kafuruge, and you literally go without food on Christmas Day. And I don't even know why I'm being emotional right now, but when I tell you that, like, I grew up that poor, like, I really mean it. So when this lady actually told me, you know what, Charlene, you actually sell from your childhood trauma, like, it was so true, because I think I'm so passionate when it comes to insurance. I just feel like I am, carrying this shield like Wonder Woman, and my duty is to ensure that Kenyan families do not succumb into poverty. Like, we break this generation, that generational poverty. But what I loved about that session with this amazing lady is that I finally found someone. At one point, she remarked that the kind of inheritance she had built, her husband and her had built for their child, was literally obscene kind of money. Like, did you hear that? Like, she told me, in terms of inheritance, they were totally covered. In terms of income protection, they were on an international medical insurance policy. So she felt like, in terms of, critical illness coverage, in the event of a disability, like, that was sorted. She actually did not need permanent life insurance. She did not need a high value life cover. She just wanted a savings policy that would really keep her committed in her savings journey. So 2023 Jan was really one of those points of also sort of like rediscovering myself, knowing myself better as an insurance agent. And that is why today's discussion is on the best life insurance policy for you is whatever works for you. There's nobody, and I mean nobody, not even, the world-class insurance agents who can prescribe the right life insurance policy for you without doing a proper needs analysis. And I believe that is where, like your discussion with your insurance agent, that is where it really needs to start. Proper needs analysis. It's at that point where you get to understand what are your protection goals. Okay, is it saving? Okay, is your protection goal getting like ample, critical illness coverage? So like income protection kind of coverage. What are your protection, even like your family situation? Lately, I've been coming across many Kenyans, who tell me, what, Charlene, maybe I'm in my late 30s, but I am not keen on starting a family. And such a client will tell me, I really don't need a plan for building inheritance. I just need maybe income protection in the event of a critical illness and disability. And I want a tool for disciplined savings. Okay, so already that tells me this is not really a candidate, say, for whole life insurance. Probably it's a candidate for a different type of life insurance. So that needs analysis. This is where you get to know what is the term, that this client, that you as a client can commit to. There are people who clearly cannot stand a 10-year term, like premium payment term. And maybe the most they can do is 5 years, if not less, So the foundation of narrowing down on what is the right life insurance product for a particular client starts with a proper discovery call or a proper needs analysis session. And once that is done, then as a client, then you need to know what are the available options for you in terms of what are the life insurance policies that are available to you. And I want to take you briefly through 3 of the key life insurance policies that are in our market, namely term life insurance, whole life insurance, and endowment policies. And by understanding these 3 different policies, then you now get a good, just understanding of what will really answer my insurance need. So term life insurance, from the word term, it means it runs for X number of years. So if you take up a term life policy for 10 years, if you take up a term life policy for 15 years, it means that that policy is only active for those 10 or 15 years and only makes a payout if the insured risk happens within that term. Okay, so if you're on a 15-year term and, during those 15 years, say death does not happen, a critical illness does not happen, disability does not happen, then the policy just ends and that's it. And most term policies, actually, there's literally no payment at the end of the day. It almost feels like motor insurance. You see the way, if you purchase your motor cover this year, if by the end of the year you've had no claim, there is nothing. You do not go to claim from the insurance company at any premium zango. So that is how most term policies are in the market. However, there's some underwriters who have sort of like a twist to their term policies, where if you go up to the end of the term with 0 claims, then you can get either part of your premiums back or actually all the premium that you contributed during that term. Okay, so that's term life insurance. And I like to say that term life insurance is ideal for income protection. Okay, for the person who feels that, say, in the next 15 years, I still have a young family and I want to ensure that I have ample protection. I have some 20 million worth of coverage or 100 million worth of coverage, so that should anything happen to me during these years when I'm still earning an income, I'm confident that there's a 100 million check that will come to my family. And in turn, if, say, my surviving spouse or my trust, if this money is paid out into my trust, then if it's invested properly, then that would mean that there's a passive income coming into my household. So that is what term life insurance can do for you. I do notice that most people who buy term life insurance are actually institutions, So probably if you work, say, for an employer who provides group life insurance, in most cases, it would turn out to be a term policy that they have purchased for their employees. Also, most maybe partnerships, firms that are also keen on buying Kenyan insurance, you find that they actually use a term policy for that. Okay, number 2 is whole life insurance. Oh, let me tell you, I love me some whole life insurance because I told you, what my client told me about, just selling from my childhood trauma. You guys, whole life insurance is the surest way of building generational wealth. It's one of those policies where you literally give the insurance company shillings and they give you in return, they guarantee millions and millions of shillings for your loved ones. So from the word whole life, this is permanent life insurance coverage. So you're talking of coverage where, you take up a plan, but you are sure that at whichever point that you transition, then the insurance company will for sure make a payout to your loved ones. And we have seen like the best whole life cover in our Kenyan market is quote unquote almost like a hybrid of a term and a whole life. So it allows you to pay your premiums for X number of years, say for 10 years or for 15 years. But even beyond that premium payment term, you just get a waiver of premium when you finish paying your premiums. And at whichever point you finally transition, you are guaranteed that your loved ones will receive the guaranteed sum assured plus, oh, you need to hear this, because this plan actually accrues a bonus year on year, and this acts as an inflation guard for this policy that will be paid out to your loved ones. So when I tell you, in 2023 January, I was just there rambling to my client about whole life insurance. I did the A to Z. She loved the product, but it just wasn't the right product for her. Okay, because the needs that whole life insurance can meet, that building generational wealth, for her, that was already a tick in her books. Okay, so that is the second policy, but this is also a policy that I've seen get a lot of love from many of my clients. This is one of those policies where clients just keep coming back. And I really love that because I can tell they get the connection. The truth is, I think a lot of us either had like a similar upbringing. A lot of us feel like you are in this journey when you are honestly like one of your biggest maybe fears in this life is poverty. So when you finally get a financial instrument that allows you to build wealth without necessarily breaking bank, oh my Lord, it's such a welcome tool, right? And thirdly, okay, to the final life insurance product that I want us to discuss is the endowment policy. And endowment policies, we must say, are the staple life insurance products in our market. Hii imependwa. Really, if you're watching this and you've probably had a sit down with a life insurance agent, the possibility that whatever they proposed to you first was the endowment policy is almost like 99%, right? And an endowment policy is a life insurance policy that marries the protection side plus the saving side, okay? And sometimes I'll come across clients where you'll be talking about life insurance and they're like, hey, Wanjiku, mimi nataka ile yenye mimi nitakula. Sorry. I do have those clients also, who come and tell me, no, I want the one that will pay me in my lifetime and I want to receive the lump sum. And of course, they usually referring to an endowment plan. And you probably encountered endowment policies as education policies. Like recently, I just had a gentleman, a new client of mine, 61 years old, sign up for an endowment plan for like 200K per month. And his goal was very clear when we sat down with him. He's actually a mightily successful man. Like this gentleman literally has 2 children who are pilots in his home. Okay? So, hakuna mchezo huku. But at this point, he wanted a plan where, over the next 5 years, he can just commit money and have a very disciplined way of gathering, so that by the end of the 5 years, he has a lump sum amount. Okay, so for this kind of client, if I were just to approach him and tell him, no, sir, the right policy for you is this one because it will help you build generational wealth, like this guy has things sorted. Okay, even in terms of illiquid assets, on point, So by the time we were sitting down and we had our discovery session, I realized that his key need was a very disciplined way of saving money and not MMF. I know some of you are looking at me and asking, why not MMF? We already have an MMF for him. But he didn't want a money market fund. He actually wanted somewhere his money would be locked in. So that's exactly the solution that I thought for him in the market, a really good endowment plan. And also, he also set aside another 200K into an individual pension plan where he's just keen on also collecting as much as he can, putting as much as he can in an IPP for the next 5 years so that these two products can mature pretty much at the same time. And one can actually be dedicated to either an annuity or an income drawdown, while the other can be actually lump sum cash that he can receive that is tax-free, and he can decide to do whatever he wants with that money, whether it's to invest, say, in a bond, in a low-risk instrument that would give him a passive income, his choice. Okay, so there you have it. The message for today is the best life insurance policy for you is whatever works for you. I genuinely feel that depending on everyone's unique situation, okay? One person, for example, for me, a whole life policy remains to be the king, for sure. And that does not mean that I don't consume a lot of endowment plans. Oh, I do. One, I'm very keen on giving really the best educational schools access to my daughter. So I definitely do consume a lot of endowment plans, but also the product that really stays king for me is a whole life policy, because one, I'm very keen on ensuring I have a young family, I have a spouse, 2 income households. And it's really, my prayer that, God forbid, should life throw a curveball my way and I'm no longer able to continue bringing the paycheck that I bring to my household each and every month, that, my family's lifestyle doesn't have to be affected. As you can see from my tea today, don't just hustle, insure the hustle. Wa Kenya, hebu we do this. We need to ensure that we insure that hustle. And you can do that with an income protection tool such as a whole life cover, especially a whole life cover that's a hybrid between term and whole. Okay, if you run a business and you are looking, say, for a group life policy and you want something that's maybe more manageable and good for the budget, then of course you could consider a term product. If your key need is actually the savings part of the life cover, then of course now your options. You do have an option, say, through the endowment policy. Okay, so it really starts from a point of a discovery session, a needs analysis session with your agent, and also a good understanding of what are the options in the market, so that now you can be able to pinpoint and say, hey, you know what? This is the right solution for my needs. And always remember, it doesn't have to be either one or the other. You can actually pick up the different policies that are available to you. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this has been an enlightening episode. I'm so grateful for your time. It's me, Mama Bima Kenya. I'm a licensed insurance agent in Kenya and also an insurance educator. And until next time, stay insured.